It's not always about how many hours you put in. It's about how effective you are at working. Initially, I thought, I'm going to have this big idea and then all the money is going to come. No, it's about you adding value. It's about you adding value. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I wanted to do a quick breakdown of the books that I read when I was starting my entrepreneurial journey. If you're new to entrepreneurship, in the beginning it can be quite daunting in the sense that you're not really sure of how you need to be, what your mindset needs to be like. So it's very good to have things at your disposal that helps you to create the mental environment that breeds success basically. So in today's video, I'll be going over 8 books that I recommend that you read to help get your mindset in the right place. So here we go. One of the first books that I recommend is Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. You need this book in your life. You need this book in your life. I love this book. It's one of the first books I read when I was starting out into entrepreneurship. I love this book because it definitely helped shape my mind into realizing that the whole world is a joke. This whole system of going to school, get a job, get paid, work until you get a pension, retire, you know, that was me. That's the idea I had in my head. This is how I'm gonna live my life. And Robert was just like, actually, you've been conned. This isn't how you're designed to live. So I like it because it's a pretty short book, only a couple of 100 pages, so you should finish it quite soon. But the premise of the book is learning how to leverage opportunities around you, not being stuck into this whole grind of going to work, collecting a salary and hoping to get rich that way. You will never get rich that way. It's all about making your money work for you. And that's a big concept of the book. It's about putting your money into resources that will then make you more money. So he's amassed his wealth by investing in property, stocks, shares, gold. And I just really like his writing style. He's a revolutionary, so anti-government, so anti-system, anti-establishment. So I definitely recommend this as one of the first books you read into entrepreneurship. Awesome read. Definitely recommend you check it out. The first book I recommend is this one. It is called Think and Grow Rich and it's by Napoleon Hill. I'm sure you've heard of this book if you're new to entrepreneurship. This book helps you to basically frame your mind in terms of how you need to think as a new entrepreneur. If you're, and you probably are, if you're transferring from a space of working corporate, being in the 9-to-5 realm, then the way that you think as a corporate employee versus the way that you need to think as a business owner is completely different. So this book is extremely good for that. It shows you by example. So this is a point. This book was written many years ago. So the examples that are used in this book are people from successful business people from the 40s. You know, don't quote me on that. But the language and the environment, the business environment is based on that time. So be prepared for that. But that doesn't negate how useful this book is. That's why it's been so well regarded as the go-to book for you to start your entrepreneurial journey. So as the title suggests, it's about thinking and growing rich. So the whole premise of this book is for you to realize that becoming rich is to do with your mindset. So this book it's a little bit spiritual, but it's very mind heavy. It's about managing your mind and realizing that your potential to achieve great things rests solely within your mental capabilities and your spiritual capabilities. So, this book drives that point home by using various different examples. I think the author spent a long time writing this book. It's like a research project. So Napoleon Hill, I think he spent about 20 years researching what it takes to become wealthy, researching the conditions, the people, and this book is a summation of that research. So he's interviewed or spent time with people like Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, all these people that were big back in the day. And he's basically broken it down to a science, why these people were able to get rich. And each chapter is kind of set out to let you know as the reader, okay, this is what you need to do. This is what so it's like almost like a step-by-step. These are the things that you need to have. So this book is very crucial if you're starting your entrepreneurial journey. The next book I recommend is this one here. So it's called The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. I love this book. I love this book, probably because it's so spiritual based. You know, it really resonates with me as a person. If you're a reader, or even if you're not a reader and you're new to the reading game, you're gonna find that you resonate with some books more than others because of how the author writes, because of how thick the book is. You know, you have various things that determine your affinity for a book basically. But I love this book. I love it because the language is very simple. It's written in spiritual terms and it's thin. You could go through this in an afternoon. It's very straight to the point. So the whole premise of this book is very similar to the previous book, Think and Grow Rich. But the science of getting rich, it shows you that becoming wealthy, if you're an entrepreneur, I'm sure you're doing it to become wealthy. So I might keep saying becoming wealthy because most of these books focus on wealth, but you can apply it to your business too. So this book basically points out that becoming wealthy is almost scientific, and that's his kind of stance in writing this book. He breaks it down to a science. Not only did I buy the physical copy, I also bought the audio copy so that I can hear it, you know, in my environment on a day, whenever I need, not on a daily basis, but whenever I need to hear the messages, because it's so simple and it's so important for the concepts to sink down into your subconscious. So it's important to consume the content as frequently as possible because it tells you how to rewire your conscious thinking for you to attract that wealth. So he lets you know poverty is a choice. That's gonna rattle some people, but it presents the idea that poverty is a choice. Being rich is also a choice, and how, you know, riches isn't down to you being born in the right family, in the right environment. It nothing to do with that. It's literally how you harness the powers of the universe, that are available to all of us in order to garner the riches that are out there for everybody. So this tells you how to do this. It runs along the same lines as manifestation, which is probably why it resonates so much with me. But if you're into manifestation, then get this book. Very highly recommended. The next book I recommend is this one here, and it's this is my favorite mentor in my head. He's my virtual mentor. So this is Richard Branson, Losing My Virginity, and this is his autobiography. I love this book because I am an Enneagram type 4, so I go into things on a very deep level, and for me to kind of learn, or for me to almost color my mind with, you know, how I need to think, who I need to be, I tend to I tend to gravitate towards reading in detail about people that have done this thing before. Listen, when I watch a movie, right? I watched a movie the other day about Scarlett Johansson was in it. It's, I think, Under the Skin. After the movie, I'm the person that goes on my phone or wherever and I'm researching, what does this mean? What's this movie all about? And the person that wrote the, you know, yeah, that's me. It's important, even if you're not that way inclined, it's important for you to understand this world that you're entering into. How have other people done it? So you get to learn from their experiences, and this autobiography is literally a step-by-step, moment-by-moment of how Richard Branson created his wealth, and he is wealthy AF. I think he's a billionaire by now. I literally gravitated towards this book when I was about 18 years old. So that's how you know you're kind of called to be an entrepreneur, because all these things will be in your path and you just gravitate towards them without knowing why. So yeah, this tells you throughout the years how he's built his empire. And as a person that's doing the same, you're embarking on the same journey, it's very good, and it helps you to understand how somebody that has done it before, how they managed to do it, the challenges they faced, how they overcome certain obstacles. I think one of the takeaways from this book for me was just how much people was involved, how much people were involved in creating Richard Branson. He didn't do this alone, you know, he didn't build his wealth alone. It was all about networking with people. And so it did show me the whole trajectory of becoming an entrepreneur is so reliant on you not only being tenacious, being resilient. He went through a lot. I definitely recommend this book or any other entrepreneur's autobiography. That will be really helpful to kind of shape your mind. Okay, the next book I'd recommend is this. Another favorite because it's tiny. It's called The Go-Giver. Yeah, just put The Go-Giver in if you want to research it. It's a very good book. I think this book helped me to realize very early on in my journey that becoming successful and having wealth is not determined by how much you work. And initially I thought, I'm gonna have this big idea and then all the money is gonna come. No. It's about you adding value. It's about you adding value. The title of the book obviously explains the go-giver. So in the book, there's 5 different examples how you get wealth, and they use certain successful people. And so I think with one person, he started as somebody who just had like a food truck, but his customer service was just so excellent and nobody else had that level of customer service, that he just grew that food truck to the point where he had to get a physical building. But because he was so good at customer service, he ended up buying buildings all over the place, and then he became wealthy. So the key take home message there was, be a good people person. If you add value in a space where, for example, if you're excellent with people and if you give good customer service in a space where that is non-existent, you will create wealth. So yeah, that's the premise of the book. It's just showing you different examples of how different people amassed wealth based on giving, not coming up with anything out of the ordinary or out of this world like your Jeff Bezos or something like that. Very simple things. Okay, next book that I recommend is this one. It's called The 4-Hour Work Week by Timothy Ferriss. Decent book. I'm gonna say decent because it's too thick. I'm not a fan of thick books. What I like about this book is that it rewired my mindset coming from corporate, where I thought, like I said, or keep saying, work, 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 get the money, get the money. Work 9 hours, get 9 hours worth of, pay. No, this book helps you to realize it's not always about how many hours you put in. It's about how effective you are at working. And that's probably going to involve, or definitely according to him, involve farming out the lower level work. When you become an entrepreneur, you will realize how you allocate your time is very important. In the beginning, you will find yourself working in your business as opposed to on your business. And you will need to initially, because you can't afford to hire people. But as your finances grow, as you're able to accumulate more wealth and generate more income and cash flow in your business, that will facilitate you being able to pay people to do some of the things that you don't essentially need to do. You don't need to do everything. You cannot build a business by yourself, okay? So this book really drives that home, that you need to think differently. You don't need to write all your emails. You don't need to do all the things. Spend your time on the important things. You can empower people to make decisions. You can farm out or allocate to other people to do certain things in your business that you don't need to do, or to make what you can. Just ideas like that. And I really like this book. It really rewired my mind in terms of how I approach becoming a successful businesswoman. So I definitely recommend that you get this book, because you can't kind of base your entrepreneurial reality on now. Jeff Bezos isn't working on his business every day. You have to kind of place your mind toward the stage where your business is flourishing, you're managing people, you're not doing all the things. So as much as I can't necessarily apply all the principles now, it doesn't matter. I'm working towards it. So this book made me see that, okay, once you start to get a decent amount of money in and you can start to pay people, hiring VAs, getting people overseas where the work is a lot cheaper. I can pay somebody in the Philippines, it's ridiculous, like £2 an hour. My time is not £2 an hour. If I'm spending time doing something that somebody who charges £2 an hour can do, then it frees me up to do a whole lot more things. So for me to spend time doing work that somebody would charge £2 an hour to do, it's counterproductive. So yeah, this book rewires your mind to enter that space of thinking, basically, in that next level reality. So I love it for that, and I would definitely recommend it. Okay, my next book is this book. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. It's big. I haven't finished it. And it's funny because I bought this book a long time ago. So I bought it when I was probably like 23 or something. I just gravitated towards this book for some unknown reason and never read it. But I picked it up, started reading it last year. I haven't finished, because you are going to, as a reader, resonate with different writing styles. I don't necessarily resonate with Stephen's writing style, because you fit a lot of words into one page. So you have to be in a space where turning everything off and you're focused on this book. That's the kind of book it is. So for that reason, and because there's so much packed per page and so much knowledge, so much information, I didn't really resonate with it. However, I recommend it because it shows you how to categorize your life, basically, how to basically allocate your mental resources and how to live in alignment with who you want to be. It does show you that you have to approach your life almost like a manager. You have to allocate your time, your resources, spend your time wisely in terms of who you want to become. So as an entrepreneur, if you want to be successful, you definitely need a book like this that shows you, okay, if you want to probably be more of a family person, then you will make decisions that are centered around family because that's your central focus. Whereas if you're all about adventure and individuality, then you will allocate your life according to those, that focus or those energies. So it's very, very good for that. It shows you just how to be effective, how not to waste your time, how to be grateful, how to just, when I think about this book, I think about chiseling, just taking away all the nonsense and just focusing, zeroing down on what is important. So this book is really good for that. This is another book that I recommend, highly recommended. It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Super old book. And again, I bought this book when I was about 19. That's why it's all tattered, and it's a very old book too. So the language, the writing style would be quite old. But I love this book. The reason I love this book is because I'm not necessarily a people person. And for you to be a successful entrepreneur, God is going to work through people in order to get to you. So don't enter entrepreneurship thinking that you're going to do everything by yourself and this is a one man or one woman show. It's all about collaboration. So this book, even though it's not necessarily written for from a business perspective, it's excellent for you to get your mind in a space of, I am here to work with people. I have to learn how to be good with people in order for me to be successful. You cannot grow and you cannot scale, okay? You cannot scale your business if you're terrible with people. You're basically shooting yourself in the foot. In order for you to get to that space where you're at the top of your game and you're wealthy, you're gonna have to learn how to work with people. So I love this book for that. It's more of the soft skill side of things, whereas the other books are like, get your mind back. This is more on the softer side of things, but I do love it for that. So the last book that I will recommend is this one. It's called Shakti Leadership, Embracing Feminine and Masculine Power in Business, and it's by Nilima Bhatt and Raj Sisodia. Hope I said those right. I like this book. To be honest, I didn't necessarily buy it for business purposes. It's really been helpful for my business life and my personal life. I recommend this book if you're a woman and you're concerned about being feminine and being a businesswoman, because entrepreneurship does have this tendency of being, or the business world does have this tendency of being very male driven, very patriarchal. I just wanted to stay away from all of that. I wanted to retain my femininity while also being a businesswoman. This book does show you how to achieve that in a very healthy way. It's showing you how you can master your feminine energies, and feminine energy is not just applicable to women. You have feminine energy as a man too. So it's about being able to tap into your feminine energy when it's needed most. So the book talks about how to be compassionate. First of all, it identifies the different feminine energies, because that's why I bought the book. I didn't even know what they were. But this book explains what are the feminine energies, how you can be feminine in business without being stepped over. So the book goes into issues like how to be compassionate, how to be warm, how to step back, being more, because women absorb, whereas men are more outgoing, penetrative. It shows you how to deal with people. The vantage point that you probably need to process from as a woman that wants to be a bit softer, a bit more subtle. It's a very good book if you want to learn how to be soft but be powerful at the same time. I think that's a good way to round it out. That's my book review. I hope it was helpful. Let me know if there are any other books that you recommend that I read. I'm always reading. I'm a reader. So I'm always after good books, and what I tend to do as well is I tend to go where my entrepreneurial journey takes me. I do recommend that you read, okay? Our attention spans are very short, unnaturally short. We don't know how to sit still anymore. So it's important for you to cultivate that habit as an entrepreneur of reading, sitting still, slowing down, going quiet, absorbing, shutting things out and focusing. Those are very good skills that you'll need to further your journey as an entrepreneur. So I hope this little book review was helpful. And let me know if you've read any of these books. Let me know what you thought. Did you like or hate any of them? But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.